Hello, everyone. Dan here with a couple of announcements. First and foremost, I want to thank everyone for listening to us and pushing us over the 2,100 download mark. That is crazy. I didn't think that this would go anywhere when I brought it to the table and asked them if they wanted to do it with me. But again, thank you so very, very much. And thank you for the support from every avenue of everything, from tweets, Facebook messages, emails, even our Patreon, our website. Second thing is we're bringing some bonus content to all the Patreons. Descent into Avernus, one-shots, some modules that we're going to be playing here in a little bit. Wednesday's group is Curse of Strahd, but it's more of the end of Curse of Strahd, and I won't let people know that. So you're going to be able to listen to the recap here for free. Costs you nothing, of course. Free. Duh. And you'll be able to get a sense of where we're at. And if you want to know more afterwards, you have to go to at Tell Dice on the Twitter and follow the link there. And it takes you to the Patreon website. And you have to sign up for Podbean, which is free. And then you can click it and see the tier. $5 and up gets you all the bonus content plus some goodie, $10 and on. So without further ado, please enjoy. And from all of us to all of you out there, thank you so very much.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, JT.
I'm DM JT. I've been DMing with these great bunch of dudes for about a year and a half now. We've been playing Curse of Strahd, and it has been a crazy, crazy adventure, to say the least. A lot has happened, and we are coming to the point where we're actually... we got level 10s for the three characters that are still in the group, still alive, right? Alliances have been changed, alignment's been messed with, lots of stuff has happened. But we're finally descending upon Castle Ravenloft, and we thought to recap this great adventure for Curse of Strahd, we thought to do a little recap. And a lot has happened in the past year and a half. So it begins with a group of 4, if I'm not mistaken.
5.
I think it was 4
5.
at the very beginning. Well, okay, well, we're bringing it all the way back, right?
All the way back.
Yeah.
There was 4. There was Rasmus, the Aarakocra sorcerer.
That's me.
There was Rexar, the dwarf samurai.
That's me.
There was Kruger, the half orc paladin. And there was Meeseeks, the halfling barbarian. And they were all came together because a friend of all of them, they had a mutual connection, had passed away. And through that, they started, once they attended the funeral and kind of got to know each other, they started doing some more work. The friend that passed away was a furbolg named Tirza, and she used to send them a lot on little missions and quests to, for money and whatnot. So when she passed away, they started adventuring together, and they picked up a quest in Waterdeep. Or was it Baldur's Gate? I think it was Waterdeep. It's been a very long time. But there was a group that was outside of Waterdeep that was causing some trouble. And on top of that, some disappearances. So the Mass Lords of Waterdeep send them to see what's going on, to see if they can get rid of them. Right outside the city. For 3,000 gold at level 1. Right? So they go over to the this group, and it turns out to be Vistani. And the leader of the Vistani, or the storyteller of Vistani, tells them a story around a green campfire. And while doing so, lures them to sleep, where they wake up in a misty land, very unfamiliar to all of them. And that's where they came upon, not knowing what was going on, where they're at, what happened. Can they even get back home? The mist was encroaching. Not only that, but it completely hindered their movement to a degree to where they couldn't go back. They fall upon the death house, make their way through the death house, and then another joins the group of 4 at this point, which is a 5th named Romanov, a dwarf cleric that just so happened to be kind of enveloped into this land as well. So from there, they go to the village of Barovia. They find Ismark and Irina Koliana. And Ismark, with his father just passing away due to heart conditions, and this unknown being to the group named Strahd was kind of luring out, trying to coerce Irina in such a way. The father dies, and he sets them on a quest to take her to a safer place. Ismark and Irina being siblings. They clear out the church at the village of Barovia and slay a vampire spawn named Doru. And priest, I think he was a priest Donovan, ends up, which is his son, yeah, I think kills himself, right? But in doing so, this is when they first meet Strahd at the church of Barovia, or the chapel of Barovia. And Strahd finally makes his first appearance. Yeah, his grand appearance. And in doing so, actually, I think charms a few, and they have a fight. So knowing the dangers and not knowing who Strahd fully is or where they're at or why they're here, they embark on a quest to bring Irina Koliana to a safer place. So they head off, but before they head off in the village, Meeseeks is captured by an old hag, and the hag puts the party to sleep, and Meeseeks goes missing. So with Meeseeks gone, their goal is to get Irina to a safer place and to find their friend. And they travel to a Vistani camp where they find Madame Eva. They get their fortunes told, and they start kind of putting together, even though it's very mysterious, they start putting together what they think they might need to do. Make these fortunes come real. They descend upon the old bone grinder and find that Meeseeks is not there. Have a fight with the coven that inhabits the old bone grinder and is able to finish them off. In doing so, the windmill is burnt and demolished as it falls to the ground, while saving, I think, 2 children. You guys remember their names?
Freak
it's been such a long time. Freak.
Yeah,
that's right.
I forget the
his sister.
female.
Freak and a girl, too.
Oh my
a little
gosh.
5-year-old.
You don't have your notebook, do you, Dion?
I do not.
Oh my god.
But they save 2 children. Meeseeks is gone. He is nowhere to be found, which leads them to believing that they're really not sure what's to kind of make of it. So after the old bone grinder is demolished and set ablaze and the coven is destroyed, they make their way to Valakai. On their way to Valakai, there is they have a carriage, and on their way there, they are chased. A black carriage is hot on their trail, and Strahd is on top of the carriage itself, being what's the word for it? There's 2 horse. There's 2 dark horses that are pulling the carriage.
Nightmare steeds.
Yes, nightmare steeds. Strahd's on top, and he is going out for blood at this point. And the group is unsure if the target is Irina or Ismark at this point, but Ismark is fighting for his life, protecting his sister. They're fighting. Werewolves are encroaching upon them, jumping onto their carriage. They have this grand fight, and Ismark does a leap of faith over to the black carriage, and in doing so is struck down mid-jump by a vampire spawn that looks very familiar to our old friend Meeseeks. And it seems as if he struck a deal with Strahd himself and has kind of switched sides. So Meeseeks finishes off Ismark. Strahd, kind of obtaining that goal of killing the brother, takes off and leaves the party to kind of fend for themselves with the rest of the werewolves. After doing so, they finally reach Valakai, and Valakai is when it breaks up into the large revolt of Valakai. And there was the Burgermaster, there's the Blood of the Wine Tavern with the Mardikovs and Lady Wachter. But they get there, and they immediately make their way to the tavern. They meet Erwin Martikov and the Martikov family and start discovering a little bit more about what it means to be a were-raven here in Barovia. And they are trying to put Irina in a safe place here in Valakai. And they think the safest place is the church of St. Andral in Valakai itself. So they go there, but they realize that there is something more afoot. Something is kind of brewing around Valakai. And what was missing in the chapel, in the church?
The bones.
The bones for the hollow spell.
Yes, that's right.
We didn't know it at the time.
So that's right.
Was, yeah.
The church had a hollow spell on it, but the hollow spell was currently inactive because bones had been taken from it. And they were trying to figure out who took the bones themselves. And that way they could restore the hollowed spell and keep Irina safe. And finally have a safe place for her outside of Strahd's reach, somewhere where he wouldn't be able to go. But the bones were missing, and they needed to figure out where and who took them. So, of course, they start pointing fingers, and they start thinking that maybe it's the Baron himself, or
Lady Wachter,
and they also meet the Baron's
Isaac,
kind of right hand man, I think adopted son, Isaac Strahd. And Isaac Strahd has a very keen liking to Irina, and not only do they share a resemblance, but he's got an appeal to her, maybe because of that sibling nature, where he needs to have her and maybe protect her. But the party didn't know that, so they strike
like a creeper,
with that gnarly arm.
Yes, with the gnarly arm.
Oh, yeah.
So they meet a man. They meet a couple, actually. They meet one inside the tavern named Rictavio, who was a traveling bard, very to himself. And they also meet another man named Vasily von Holtz. Now, with Strahd being the way he is and has the group in a full paranoia at this point, who can they trust? Well, they definitely don't trust Rictavio. He could be Strahd, right?
I think at this point we had an extra member join us before Valakai.
Which was who?
Our paladin friend.
Oh,
Griffin?
Griffin.
That's right.
Did he join in Valakai?
Yeah, he did before.
Oh, he
that,
did.
on the way there.
Because he made Freak a fucking skateboard.
That's right.
And we had a huge discussion about how it's not a vehicle and
dang
proficiency.
This has been a year and a half and some change, and it's been a long, crazy road. There was another after Meeseeks had left, we had another character join the group, and that was Griffin, the paladin of vengeance. And he was that's right. He was he was very familiar to Barovia. He had lived there. He was born there. And his wife had been slain by Strahd, and he was looking to find vengeance for her.
Do you need vengeance?
You need vengeance, right?
Vengeance on a
So
signpost.
he's with the party. They get to Valakai. They start uncovering this mystery. They meet Vasily von Holtz, who's reading a lot of I think notes about Strahd. Yes. So they took a liking to him, and Rictavio was someone not to be trusted, but. They meet up, they exchange with Isaac a meeting. They fashion a meeting with Isaac to see if they can kind of get him on their side. They know that he cares for Irina in a weird way, but they think that it could help. Especially Romanov thinks this. So they set up this meeting, but the meeting goes wrong. And they are thrusted into a chase because Isaac takes Irina from them and tries to take her away.
He swooped her.
With that, cultists come out and start attacking at the same time, which kind of prompts Isaac to take Irina and get her out of the situation. Unbeknownst to the party or Isaac that the cultists are actually working with Lady Wachter. So in doing so, Irina is taken, and they're hot on Isaac's trail. They go to the Baron's mansion, the Burgomaster's mansion of Valakai. They get there. They confront Isaac. Not only do they confront Isaac, but they manage to kill and decapitate the Baron
for vengeance
right then and there. And Isaac is told to back off, and they regain Irina, and now the Baroness of Valakai is a widow. Her husband now being dead, and no one to lead Valakai at all. Now, through this, the festival is going to happen. The town is still making these preparations to conduct this festival, even though the Baron has been slain. So, Vasily von Holtz, I think, is the one that tells you guys to maybe have a meeting with Lady Wachter? Or was
and
it
Isaac
a spy?
told us that this would be the final festival.
Where did
Yes.
we meet that cat lady?
She was in there. That's Stella walked her.
Yeah.
That's her daughter. Yeah. So
That was in Lady Walker's
that's right.
house, right?
Isaac
Yeah.
kind
God, that
of
was so
takes Isaac kind of takes the charge, and the Baroness of Valakai kind of take the charge. They say one more festival, and that's it. No more festivals.
Which involves all these people that they have locked up in cages.
Yes.
With
They
their
wear
necks
these-
bent back.
Yeah, they wear these weird like masks.
Oh
Yeah.
yes,
The
with
kids,
the horse
yeah,
heads.
yeah,
Yes, with the
all the
horse heads.
children, even back
That's
there,
right.
it looks like their necks are really bent backwards because they
Right.
have to wear that heavy, whatever it is.
So Rictavio, being very mysterious, they don't really take too much to him yet. They kind of take a liking to Vasily, and Vasily, I think, suggests that they should go talk to Lady Walker, and she might be a good fit for Valakai. They're still trying to find out the mystery of the bones. There's a missing girl that they end up finding at the Lake Zarovich, who's trying to be drowned. They end
was
up
that guy's name?
saving her. I don't know the guy's name, but I remember Arabella.
I just remember his Milovich.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. But Milovich was the yes. Okay, so that's right. That's where you guys got that clue.
And so real quick, ladies walked her. We went back twice, right?
I think just once.
We went there once.
So
but I remember kicking in a door, and we went downstairs because she gave us the. You remember that now?
it's been so long. I'm not sure. I'm just trying to I'm trying to piece together like
went
most
there
of the
once.
parts because Valakai was a long few sessions.
We went to Lady
actually.
Walker's once. It went very south,
Yeah,
and her head also got removed from its shoulders.
Yes,
Yeah,
but
because she was getting snarky or something, and Romanoff, at the time I was playing a arcane cleric, or fuck, I can't remember the class I was playing. I know it was a cleric, but I had access to magic missile.
Yes.
Oh,
And I
that's
point
right.
blank her
Yeah.
with,
Yeah,
a
with the
magic missile, and
that's
that's when
right.
combat started. We ended up killing her. We ended up ransacking the house. Somebody went upstairs and met a girl.
Yes.
And I love JT. I love you so much. JT's words exactly. Please, guys, don't make this dirty.
Now
And
that
the
was her
words-
daughter's
her
and
daughter
the
was very
words there-
estranged.
Do you want to play with my kitty cat?
Yeah.
Because she was like raised by cats or something, right? Like the
Yeah.
house had cats.
Or she went. I know because Lady Walker kept her very shut in, so
Yeah,
she ended up
something
becoming very
weird, yeah.
estranged after that. Yeah.
She had something wrong with
something.
Oh, yeah.
And then I know I went downstairs, or Romanoff went downstairs at the time, and I think it was Rexar, right? The two dwarfs went downstairs.
Yeah.
Because we kicked in the door really well.
And also found the Colt itself
yeah,
downstairs.
the Colt itself. Not literally like, hey, we did a good job.
And
Which
we found-
led to finding out who started the who screwed up the meeting with Isaac.
Correct.
And you guys, yeah, which kind of led to Irina being captured.
on
Also the
top
Baron
of
dying, but
finding a certain mirror that had special properties to
well,
it.
and that was in the Baron's house. That's right. So the mirror had special properties to summon an assassin.
Because, yeah, after that, we went to the Baron's house to see
Who
if we
did
could
you
get
use that on?
Correct.
Griffin?
Griffin.
Oh, great.
I wanted to kill.
There was some animosity between the characters.
What
at
group
some
doesn't
point.
have problems,
Yeah,
though?
what group
right?
doesn't have problems?
Yeah, because I think because then we went to the other mayor's house, and we wanted to talk to Isaac and see if he would help,
Right.
like, rule or be the burgomaster.
But he didn't want to. I don't think. So yeah, you guys found Arabella. You guys had a clue about Milojov, which was the I think one of the I don't know the word for it, but he worked at the
He
church
was
of
like
St.
a docks
Androth.
fisherman.
Yeah,
Well, no, he was at the church. He used to tend the church.
Oh,
yeah,
because he had
Milojov.
the
yeah,
the
there was a bunch of clues
Yeah.
too
that
for
we
the
found.
bones.
Fucking
So they find Arabella. They go and they confront this Milojov, and Milojov confesses and said the bones were he took the bones and he gave them to Henrik von Hort. Hopefully, I got that name right. It's been a while, but he was the coffin maker at
They're all
the coffin shop.
complicated.
oh shit, that's right.
So, but I think you guys go to Lady Walker first, and that's when Lady Walker proposes herself, saying that she's known or she's well fit to rule Valakai, right? And I think she had she was saying that she was kind of
Yeah.
she had more of a respect for Strahd than other people.
Well, she's not fit for it anymore.
Well, exactly. She's not fit for it anymore because her head doesn't fit on her body anymore. 'Cause it's
Correct.
gone. But in doing so, Lady Walker dies. You guys go and find the Colt underneath, and from there, Vasily ends up disappearing. He kind of brings you guys to this meeting with Lady Walker, but then he disappears. Then after that, I'm pretty sure you guys go to the coffin shop. You find the bones, and you take the bones to
We get attacked by vampires for the first time
yes.
in the coffin shop.
Yes.
Someone
you guys
had-
take the bones. That's right. The vampire spawn come out of the boxes.
Someone had light, the spell light,
Yeah.
or drift globe.
I
No, we
had
a drift globe.
I had a drift
That's
globe.
How the
right.
fuck did we get the drift globe again? You were too nice to us.
I know. But you guys took the bones, brought them back to the church, but it was already too late because Vasily von Holtz was standing in the middle of the church.
Madness.
And madness ensued when he sheds his disguise, and it is Strahd von Zarevich.
Oh, shit.
And the church is... the Feast of St. Andral happens, and Strahd is kind of fought against for this. This is kind of like your guys' second fight with him, maybe third at this point.
No,
but
I would say this is the first kind of real confrontation because both times haven't been him.
Right.
So this is the first time he was kind of...
And I guess a big part, too, because during the carriage fight, Romanov contracted lycanthropy. And Strahd changes the sun or daytime to night, and your werewolf comes out to a full, because he does a full moon, and you are struck with this werewolf form, and you're not sure who's friend and foe. And the only thing that can calm you is Irina, so you take a friendship to her during all this feast of St. Andriel. But Strahd leaves you guys to a place that, if I'm not mistaken, is not safe. Still, even after the fact. Blinsky is met, and again, our timeline, it's happened such long ago, so there's things that are kind of out of order. But Blinsky's met, and you guys start finding a little bit more things about the jolly old guy. He's actually a really, really cool character.
Blinsky is the toy maker, right?
Yeah, the toy maker.
Which is where I acquired my Strahd puppet.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah, and for everyone out there, maybe on the website one day you'll see the Curse of Strahd puppet that Dion bought for
it's
it.
Great. It is amazing.
He is more powerful than Strahd.
I am more powerful than
That is correct. I am more powerful than the Strahd. He is a fake.
Blinsky's met, and then what else happens? And then after that, the festival is underway. But in doing so, a tiger is let out, and the tiger ruins the festival. So Isaac and the Baroness take stand, and they have this speech. The Baroness has a speech, but the group isn't having that.
Something about the sun.
Yes, because Vargas is there, or Victor Vargas. I can't remember his name.
But they had like a big Wicker Man sun thing.
The festival of the sun. That's what you mean. The festival of the sun. The Baroness says her speech, but the group's not having it, and they think Erwin Martikov is a better fit as a burgomaster for Valakai. So the Baroness dies. Isaac flees. The Baroness and the Baron's son, which I think his name is Victor.
Because he was hidden, right? Upstairs.
Yeah, the mage. He is killed as well. And the town goes awire with a tiger on the loose. And they're able to find the tiger and coal it back to where it needs to go, which is a wagon, a carnival wagon in Valakai. And a bard is looking this whole time for his tiger until they are reunited. And this is Rictavio.
Zach's character, how did he... Wolfsbane.
He had lycanthropy too.
Yeah.
And so...
From the feast, didn't you contract it to him?
Did I? Oh,
Yes,
no,
he did.
it was, inside the chapel.
Yeah, and Rictavio.
So Griffin ends up getting lycanthropy. Then you guys go into the wagon.
Yeah.
And from the wagon, Rictavio offers a little bit of knowledge to cure this lycanthropy, and that is Wolfsbane. But Wolfsbane can kill you if taken... If not strong enough, it's not strong-willed to be able to digest it.
So what does our paladin do?
So what does our paladin do? Griffin takes it immediately
And swallows it all.
And swallows it all, which leads him into going unconscious. And cue Rictavio shedding his disguise and showing his mastery in not only medicine, but his knowledge and his skill as Rudolf van Richten, the legendary monster hunter and vampire slayer.
Yeah, so I like to think of as Rudolf van Richten as like The Witcher.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, basically.
Absolutely. But he's at the end of course of his life.
Yep.
He's very smart and intelligent. He's kept very secret because he knows Strahd will know about him and everything. So he's really put on this disguise, but he can't just let someone die in front of him. Maybe he could, but he didn't. And he sheds his disguise, and you guys see him for who he really is. This whole time, you thought he could have been Strahd, Rictavio, right? Turns out to be his legendary monster hunter. So,
obviously, this town gave us a couple trust issues.
Right? So Erwin Erwin tells the group of the Wizards of Wine Winery. Van Richten packs up and says, I'm heading to a tower that I have recently acquired, and I will be hiding and staying there until the time is right. And you guys are off, and you actually, the first thing you do, I think, is go to Van Richten's tower.
Before that, we found the bones, right?
Yeah, but I don't think I think it was too late.
We found the bones, and
it was too late.
Romanov was,
put him. Yeah, I put him in the underneath.
It took him a day or two. I believe.
I gave up my deity because being in a Barovia.
And that's when you turned to a grave cleric.
I turned into a grave cleric worshiping the Raven Queen, and I sacrificed that guy who somebody threw a guy down.
Oh, cultist. Yeah,
one of the cultists down there.
I remember that. Yeah, that's right. Oh, God, this whole story.
So Romanov went through from an arcane cleric to a grave cleric.
I'm glad we just spent like 20 minutes talking about Valakai. It was so much happening.
Valakai literally took us, 6-8 months?
Oh, man, it was... No, I wouldn't say... No. Real life, I think it was...
That's what I'm
saying.
We
did have a break, but it was like... I think it was like 7 or 8 sessions, maybe more. So we're talking like 2... I think it was like 2 months.
I think it was a lot more than that.
I think it was about 2-3 months.
No, but that's not including the breaks that we might have had in between. I don't know. It was long.
It's the longest that was...
It was like the longest. Yeah, it was the longest little arc.
But I mean, we successfully pretty much killed every single person in the hierarchy there.
Oh, I know. It was done after that.
And made Erwin Burgermaster.
Yep. And then you guys pack up. You leave to take Irina to somewhere even safer, right? And there was talks
She was staying at the church.
Oh, that's right. She stayed there with Kruger,
with Zach, and
that's right.
Sister.
With Griffin.
No, Kruger
Griffin.
stayed.
No. I meant Freak. I keep thinking Freak's name
Kruger,
is Zach.
But Kruger stayed, right?
Kruger.
No, Kruger.
Remember, turned out to be.
No. Yeah, so no, that's what happened though. Kruger stays behind in Valakai with Irina to protect her, inside the chapel. Kruger the Paladin, and along with the children that they have acquired. So they're kind of protect. He's going to stay and protect them. The rest of the party goes up north to Van Richten's tower, and in doing so, they come across a little bit of a trap with some tree blights, but a revenant makes its appearance and slays down the evil blights that are kind of giving the group a hard time. And Griffin recognizes this as his wife. His wife has somehow risen from the grave as a revenant and is somewhat fixated on a mansion not far off called Argenvostold. But they kind of hold off their advance and they try to go find Van Richten. And in doing so, they get there, they open the secret, they do the secret passcode to open Van Richten's tower. Some werewolves attacked, and that's when Van Richten showed up.
We blow up the
wagon. Yes, the wagon in front is blown up.
We thought to search the wagon, and it literally blew up in our face.
We tied the door to a horse, and we pulled the door off, and it exploded.
Yeah. But this is the first time, though, that you guys actually sit down and like talk to Van Richten for real.
Wasn't the actual lock like some weird dance?
Yeah, it was.
Rexar was doing
Rexar the dwarf.
So Sean gets up off the table and starts doing the dance, and it was so epic.
Did it perfect, actually.
Yeah.
It was perfect.
That's what was required. Like this.
And that door opened with ease after that. It was like...
I remember that, man. That was...
You got to be on mic.
Sorry, my bad.
Okay, so this is the first time, though, that you guys had really sat down and talked to Van Richten. And Van Richten told you that Strahd is not something to be trifled with, and that this is approach and the mindset that Van Richten has had has to stay as hidden as he can until the right moment. And that he would not go with the party because it's too much of a... He wouldn't divulge why, but he would not accompany the party because it's too much of a liability. And he will stay here and make his preparations and everything until he can make his strike on Strahd. The tower is sanctioned and everything like that, and they find out that it's a place where Strahd can't go, which in hindsight would be a way better place to put Irina, but that didn't work out. But
yeah, I mean, a lot happened.
So Erwin breaks through as a raven, as the Markovs are were ravens, breaks through the window, or enters in through to the tower, and informs the party that Irina Koliana is missing and Kruger has been killed. And this throws the party into confusion. Now, I want to say you guys go back to Valakai to check afterwards. I don't think you would just not go back. Pretty sure you went back.
We did. We did go back to investigate.
We went back to Erwin's place?
To Valakai, I think so, yes.
Yeah, because...
And Irina was gone, and they found... Oh, wait, maybe he tells you guys what happened.
Yeah, he tells us because we go back because we haven't talked about the winery, right?
No, you're right. I don't think you go back. I think he tells you what happens, which is that he found Kruger's body lying on the ground. A window was broken. Irina was gone. And when he touched Kruger, his body turned into ice. It melted right in front of him into ice, which was Van Richten denoted as might have been a simulacrum spell. So Kruger might have been an imposter for who knows how long.
Right.
Party doesn't know. But knowing what Erwin has told them about the winery, they make their way, and also still trying to figure out these fortunes that they have. They know that there are some treasures that will be able to help them fight Strahd. So they go to the Wizard of Winery, and it is being attacked by druids, evil druids. They kill the druids off. Rasmus gets the Gulthias staff and shatters it to kill off the hundreds and hundreds of blights that are attacking the winery. And in doing so, meets Damien Mardukov, which is Erwin's father, which they have not had a good relationship as of late. Damien informs them that the winery has seen better days and that magical gems that they use to make the wine are gone, missing. The last one being the only one that they had was stolen by these evil druids not too long ago. They follow the druid trail. They also follow a fortune, because if I'm not mistaken, one of your fortunes was that of Yester Hill.
Yes.
And you guys knew that was definitely a place where you needed to go. So you go there. And going to Yester Hill, you find that the druids are doing a ritual to make Winter Splinter, the giant treant, the blighted tree, to come alive and lay waste to, the good of Barovia. What's left of being good in Barovia, right?
The very, very little.
But Meeseek shows up as Strahd's minion, and they are able to dispatch and slay Meeseeks, their old former friend. He finally dies here.
What people don't know is her lovely DM made Mingseeks, a barbarian warlock.
It was overpowered. He was casting while he was raging.
It was gross.
It was gross.
It was very broken.
But you guys managed to kill him, and then in doing so, you managed to kill Winter Splinter. And Winter Splinter was destroyed. The gem was taken out. He had a magical gem, the winery gem inside of him. Takes the magical gem out, and you guys find the Sun Sword underneath the Gulthias tree. And you finally have one piece of the puzzle of your fortunes from an amoeba. So they go back to the winery, and when they go back, it is being attacked by scarecrows, and a large amount of them. After they dispatch the scarecrows, Damien tells them that they've been under these attacks for quite some time, and it's coming from the ruins of Berez under a hag named Baba Lasaga. They know of the blight of Barovia, that all the wine shipment is getting low. They know they have to take some wine to Crest. They have to take some wine to Valakai now that they have this gem, and they're able to produce wine again, even though it's the kind of the lesser of the wines, the three wines that they can. Yeah, it's the cheapest, right? But they at least have wine that they can produce again. And the Martikovs are ecstatic, right? But in doing so, Romanov has this lycanthropy that he's been dealing with, and Damien proposes that they can cure his lycanthropy, but the only way to cure it is to induce another form of lycanthropy in him. So he undergoes and stays at the winery while the rest of the party leaves to undergo becoming a were-raven instead. To change that werewolf lycanthropy, and the only way to do it was to change to were-raven. So he stays. The rest of the group breaks off. They deliver the wine shipments to Kresk and to the village of, or to Valakai. At Kresk, or is it after that? You guys deliver the wine and find the magic shop and then leave, right?
So we got to Kresk. They requested the wine and wouldn't let us in before we got the wine over there. Okay. He told us that we were looking for a possible magic shop, something like that, to maybe procure more powerful items.
Yeah.
And the rumor was it was part of Kresk. So we made our way to Kresk. The Baron stopped us from entering, and we coerced our way in with a armed escort to view some of the town. That's where Griffin made his friend
Jeff, the guard. He was gambling.
And he distracted the guards while Razimus, Rexar, and Romanov was with us, had gone to the magic shop and purchased some extra items.
But then you guys left.
And then we left to go procure the wine from the winery to bring to Kresk and split the shipments between.
So then, after the shipments are delivered, Griffin is ready to make his way to Argynbostel, and that's where you guys know you have to go. Ileana was a revenant, and she was headed for Argynbostel, and that is his love that has returned, but she's not the same. She's different, and he's got to figure out why. So they go there. Is the mansion of the Silver Dragon, the Order of the Silver Dragon? Yeah,
and this is the point where
and this
Romanoff
has gone. Yes. So you guys, they travel to Argynbostel. Right outside of Argynbostel, they are greeted with a few characters. Yes. Not only are there evil Vistani here, but God, I think it's Kruger, right?
Kruger was...
he's already there.
We witnessed Kruger run in.
That's right. So you guys witnessed Kruger. So Kruger's pronounced dead, right? He's supposed to be dead. And all of a sudden they witness him run into the mansion. And he has something. He's carrying something. And coming up the hill with a carriage or something in tow on horseback is a Vistani lady named Esmeralda de Avenir. And she has... I think unknowingly to her, has a coffin in the back of whatever she stole. That's right. She steals this from the Vistani camp. Yeah, she steals this from the Vistani camp, and she doesn't know what she stole. She just knows she needs a horseback. And inside is a coffin, which they're lying inside is a Minotaur gunslinger named Vinny, Two Horns, which is what Dan was then playing, his new character.
Yeah.
So the Vistani, the evil Vistani in tow, trying to get back what was stolen from them, but Esmeralda's not having it, and the group's not having it either. So they're able to slow down their advances of these Vistani and kind of tie them up and make them listen to what they say. So they explore Argynbostel, trying to find Kruger, and in doing so, find out that this mansion is real spooky, real haunted too. They're very
real spooky.
Yeah, real weird things happening in this mansion. But Kruger, supposedly pronounced dead, informs them that he woke up, something happened, he was knocked unconscious while he was in Valakai and was taken to Castle Ravenloft, and he woke up in the dungeon of Castle Ravenloft. And in doing so, he was able to escape and find Esmeralda inside, while being able to steal. He had a vision to steal a dragon's skull and bring it here. Was his quest, right? So he brings this dragon skull here, and he's telling them there's a way to light a beacon of Argynbostel, this beacon of light and good that will help us against Strahd, but he has to figure out how. So they discover more of the mansion and find the old revenants of the Order of the Silver Dragon. I think that's what it's called.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In doing so, Ileana makes her return, and Griffin is still trying to cope and figure out how he feels about his wife being brought back from the dead, but now she's a revenant. And they find two important characters, which is Sir Godfrey, which is one of the Order of the Silver Dragon, and informs them that the only way to really light this beacon, something is stopping it, and it's the spirit of Vladimir Horngard, that he is somehow not letting that let that be possible. So they go and confront Vladimir. He tells them that his goal is to make sure Strahd is in agony forever, and that his curse is fulfilled for eternity, and that he suffers because Strahd had wiped out the Order of the Silver Dragon long ago and made them who they were, these revenants. So they finish off Vladimir.
Hindsight. Maybe we could have got that guy to work for us.
Yeah.
Now that we're hearing the recap, I'm like, God damn it. Oh, fuck me. Anyways.
Right? Well,
and not to mention...
in hindsight, it could have worked out that way, but instead they ended up killing him, which was a very tough battle, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
but
tell them what's your little spin on it.
I mean, mechanics and stuff.
Let them know.
I had a wall of summoned a wall of phantom warriors where you guys had to find the gap, and what else was there? There was like a.
We're all WoW nerds, and so
it was WoW mechanics. It was so cool.
It was really fun, though.
It was really fun.
You got pretty frustrated because Vinny and Rasmus, we stayed outside.
Yeah.
The door.
Plus Rasmus could fly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
You're like, so as soon as we finally made our way in, because you kept scooting back towards the room, you were like, oh, there's a wall up now.
I was like right. And then full-on WoW mechanics at that point.
Yep.
And don't forget, Godfrey's head was removed and is attached to Rasmus's belt. He granted Rasmus extra knowledge and power, so
that's a charisma bump, right?
Correct.
Wait, you're supposed to have that still?
I do have it still.
I've
had Godfrey's head on.
You've had his head this whole time?
This whole time.
Oh my god.
He's been walking around.
I just don't remember if he could talk or not.
My god, I think he can.
I don't think he can. He?
I don't know. Lost in time. That's it.
Not really. He's on my belt.
I know, but I just don't know what was like the rules for it. I can't remember. I don't remember that. I really don't. That's crazy. So yeah, Vladimir's dead. They are able to figure out this puzzle of lighting the beacon with the dragon skull, and once they light the beacon, the doors open, and out comes a gnome. Right? She's a gnome. Mm-hmm. A gnome paladin named Helga, out of nowhere. She was. They're not sure where she was from, but she is for the good of things. I think she was an old order of this. I don't remember.
Her grandfather was the old order of the Silver Dragon.
That makes sense.
And then that's how you brought Robin's character, which y'all,
Robin came in.
You Patreon listeners know that Robin plays, and so she joined us for a while. And she played Helga, a very feminist woman. Men can't do anything better than what her character could do. She was superior to everyone.
She was awesome, and she finally joined. She joined the party. The beacon was lit, so there was this symbol of good for Barovia. That they have the sun sword. The beacon's lit. They're starting to get things rolling against Strahd, right? But Ilyena dies in the process of fighting Vladimir, and Esmeralda says, "We need to go back to Kresk. We need to go to Kresk. The abbot can save her, but we need to go now." And Esmeralda, still at this whole time she's been with the party, is trying to ask about Van Richten, trying to go see him. She's been looking for him for a long time, and she needs to find him. But the party says, no, screw that. We're listening to Van Richten, and you are not to be trusted, so we're going to go to Kresk. In doing so, they strike a deal with the abbot. The abbot grants Ilyena life again, and she is restored. But they must fashion a bridal's dress for his flesh golem, his flesh construct, that he wants to have be married to Strahd. So Rasmus goes on a hunt to find this dress, and he thinks of a place in Valakai. Maybe the Baroness had a dress there. He thought he had seen one, but that whole house was burnt down. So that was he got little strips and scraps, and I know I've missed out on it because we've been detailing and recapping a lot, but the little girl that they found at Lake Zarovich, Arabella, has a very keen nature to magic, for her, especially for her age, and she's very intelligent for her age. But they brought her back to a Vistani camp a while back ago. So he finds scraps of the dress and thinks that maybe she's magical enough to be able to fashion a dress out of this, and she does. But it's very floral. He uses a lot of flowers and florals, so it's a very floral dress.
I wanted it to look pretty.
Yeah, not the right material, right? So he brings it back to the abbot, and the abbot hates it. And the abbot thinks this is a disrespectful sign, right? So what do? The group decides, well, the abbot should die. So they kill the abbot, which the abbot turns out to be a celestial, which a planar, right?
Yeah, that almost wrecked us.
That almost wrecked you guys, and the flesh construct as well, and all these mongrel folk. But in doing so, not only that, but a mongrel folk attack on Kresk. The Baron, the Kreskovs, the Baron, the burgomaster, should I say, of Kresk ends up dying, and his wife ends up dying. And Griffin then stays in Kresk with his newly resurrected wife, Ilyena, and becomes the burgomaster of Kresk and stays there to watch over it, this city that they're now
with
inhabiting.
Jeff.
With Jeff, the guard. So after this is done, they finally try to take the trail of the Scarecrow attack. And they go to the ruins of Berez to try and see if the other gem of the winery is there. So they go to the ruins of Berez, and at this point, it's Vinny, it's Rexar, it's Rasmus, it's Esmeralda, and
Helga,
but I don't think she was there for that session. But she was there in spirit.
No, she played.
So they go to the ruins of Berez, and the ruins of Berez is playing tricks on Rasmus, kind of I can't remember what spell it is.
It was basically an illusion.
It was an illusion. Yeah, you thought you were in your elemental plane of air,
but everyone was able to see it.
Oh, that's right. Everyone did. Yes. Yeah, that's right. But in doing so, you are in the middle of a creeping hut with a bath full of blood, and Baba Lysago shows herself, and Isaac is being charmed and starts being very aggressive towards the group. And the creeping hut has this green gem, or this green glow to it, so they think this is where the gem can be.
Baba Lysago claims to be mother to Strahd?
Yes, claims to be mother of Strahd. So they kill Baba Lysaga, they destroy the creeping hut, take out the gem, and Vinny Two Horns ends up dying in this fight against the hag herself.
Such an asshole.
So they take his body. They're able to, I think, get Isaac unconscious, and they take both of their bodies to the winery, Vinny being laid to rest. But now they have 2 gems of the winery, so the Mardikovs are ecstatic. Romanov is still undergoing this process of becoming a were-raven and foregoing his werewolf lycanthropy. They then travel back to Van Richten's tower for more information, not really knowing where to go next. So they go to Van Richten's tower.
Now, yeah, because Largo followed you guys back to the winery, hid in Rexar's bag, ate rations. Then you guys went to sleep. He came out, turned into a crow, watched. You guys went to the tower.
Didn't you transform?
I transferred for a horse because that's when that's when Robin was able to play again.
Yes,
and so she rode. That sounds dirty. She rode Largo to the tower with what's her face.
But they didn't know you were the horse.
They didn't know.
Okay, so so they go back to Van Richten's tower, and there is a secret druid in tow that the party has no idea what's going on, or who he, or that he's even there, should I say? But this open line of communication with the Sending Stones, Van Richten says, "Hey, come back." But if Esmeralda is with you, do not bring her there. So they tell her she can't come. And they go back to Van Richten's tower, but of course she's hard-headed and stubborn, and she needs to talk to Van Richten, so she...
And she's got Helga.
Yeah, and she has Helga, and Helga is, all for the women. Secretly go to the tower while the rest of the group is already ahead. Van Richten then notices that when they arrive there that something's wrong, something's weird. And this is when the party is introduced to a new character named Largo, which is a gnome druid.
Yep, Spore. Druid of the Spore.
Druid of the Spore. And Esmeralda being invisible and Helga being invisible are finally the magic of the tower makes them uninvisible, even though I screwed that up in the actual session, but that's okay. Nullifies that. And he was furious that Esmeralda has come, but Esmeralda and Van Richten then tell of their relationship to the party. Van Richten was her teacher, her mentor for several years, taught her everything that she knew. She was his prodigy, but he has a curse. And the curse is that everyone that gets close to him, everyone that he cares about deeply or spends, too much time with, ends up perishing or dying or some sort of mishap always happens. So he keeps everyone at a distance. And Esmeralda is trying to convince him that she can break the curse. She's been doing a lot of research and studying. She knows how to break the curse, but he's not listening, so she storms off. And Van Richten then proposes a few things. One is the Ember Temple, but first is the Mad Mage Baratok. There is a Mad Mage, and he knows, he has an inclination that this guy could actually be a lot of help, but they got to figure out where he is and who he is first, right? So you guys are off. You guys find the Mad Mage Baratok, you coerce him, you knock him unconscious. I think Esmeralda
after a difficult battle.
Yeah, I think Esmeralda
chased him.
Yeah, he time stopped and everything. Yeah,
he was strong.
A squid came, or an octopus appeared in midair. I remember now. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. Oh, that's your Largo. Yeah,
Largo
right.
druids.
Oh, wow, I didn't. There's so much
because he was in the air, no one could hit him.
But in doing so, the Mad Mage is knocked unconscious. Esmeralda was actually following you guys secretly, invisible, and she convinces you that whatever you're doing, the Mad Mage needs to be talked to first, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Before he is brought to Van Richten. And she restores his sanity because he has been gone insane for a long time, and he turns out to be none other than Mordekainen, the legendary wizard. So this one's I think a little fuzzy in all our minds, but if I'm not mistaken, they bring him back to Van Richten, and she convinces Van Richten and Mordekainen and Largo that the way to break this curse is that they need to go to the place where the curse first happened. And Largo and Mordenkainen, Largo being the druid of the swamp of the spores, there's a set of monolith like ruins that are in the area and that he tends to. He's kind of like the grove keeper, right? And he has a little bit of a secret, and that is that this is actually a kind of like a portal to a different plane of existence, right? And he needs help with some more additional magic, which Mordenkainen offers. So through some really hard negotiation, Van Richten agrees. Thinks it's a bad idea, but he agrees. And you guys head off back to the Ruins of Brez to perform this ritual. Mordenkainen keeps a portal open, and you all enter the Realm of Shadows, which is actually a kind of like a... It's more of like
a demiplane.
A demiplane, but it's more of like visions of the past.
Yeah.
Right? So you guys see a few events happening, but Strahd is here in the flesh, in this realm. And he throws down Kruger's body, which Kruger has not been with the party. He stays back to do some more paladin work this whole time. But he throws down Kruger's dead body and is in a furious rage. And the party doesn't really understand why, but now Kruger's dead. And Strahd raises the bones of the legendary Argynvost, the dragon. And the party is then fighting for their lives in these visions of the past, while Van Richten and Esmeralda, kind of in this different plane, are trying to take care of the curse, to get rid of the curse. But in doing so, they're able to finish off the dragon, but they are too late, and Esmeralda is killed inside this realm itself, this plane of existence. And the curse is broken, but Van Richten doesn't know at what cost was it worth, right? And now Kruger's dead, Esmeralda's dead, and the party is kind of lacking a little bit of hope at this point. Largo stays behind to tend the grove and to tend the realm.
Because Strahd can apparently access these
monoliths. Because Strahd can access them, and he thinks that it's better that he should stay and protect it, so he does. The party then, with low on hope, now that two of their friends have been killed, they go back to the winery and prepare to make their way towards the Amber Temple, which is Dan's, I think, fourth character at this point, where Oz comes in.
Yeah.
Romanov's still undergoing the process, but he's starting to be done with the process of becoming a were-raven, and he's starting to clear up and become healthy again. Another character is brought into the mist, and that is Oz the Goliath Barbarian, right?
Yep.
New, he's part of a tribe, and it was part of a ritual to kind of undergo this quest, but or not this quest, but like this sacred rite. Right?
A sacred rite, yeah, to basically find himself, just like the Indians would do, find their spirit animal.
Yeah,
type thing. Yeah.
So he ends up actually being in Barovia, and maybe Strahd brought him in there, maybe he didn't. Who knows, right? But he's in Barovia, and this new friend, they all agree. The four of them, I think Helga too. Yeah, because Van Richten too.
Yep.
The five of them head towards Salinka Pass. At Salinka Pass, they have a fortune that seems very reminiscent of where they're at. They have to fight their way through zombies, a horde of zombies, a lot of zombies. And they make their way to Salinka Pass, and they find the Tome of Strahd. And they then make their ascent towards the Amber Temple, but not only after they've fought the rock of Mount Gaucus, I think it was.
Which we had somehow were able to see the nest from far away.
Yes.
Razimus went to investigate and landed in this gigantic nest.
Which knew something was not right. And then a large monstrosity of a bird, gargantuan, was heading straight for his friends back at the bridge, so he tried to go as fast as he can to warn them, barely making it in time. But noticing that the rock had green energy coming from this green magic kind of protrude emanating from it. Mm-hmm. So they kill the rock, and they find the last Wizards of Wine gem that was lost to everyone. No one knew its whereabouts. It's been gone for a long, long time, which is even why Erwin and his father's relationship with Damien and Erwin, their relationship was so strained, because Damien always thought that Erwin was at fault for this. But it looks like a small bird just happened to grab it one day and
Thought it was food.
Magical powers made it turn gargantuan. So they fight this big rock. They kill it, and they make their way towards the Amber Temple. And at this point, Helga does not continue with the party because she thinks the temple is too dark, too evil. That's what she's feeling. But the rest of the party heads in. And it's Oz, Rexar, and Rasmus, and Van Richten. They go inside the temple. They're able to clear out a little bit of way, fighting some barbarians that kind of taken hold. And they start finding some amber sarcophagi.
First, Rasmus found that staff.
Oh, that's right. You found a staff of frost. Staff
Correct.
of power? Staff of frost. And it gave him a very unlucky flaw. And he craved power, and he was trying to fight that flaw the whole time. Once they started finding these amber sarcophagi, they started hearing some strange voices when they would touch them. And it sounded like some sort of entity was trying to make deals with them, dark deals, dark bargains. And of course, the party agreed. Not just to one, not just to 2 or 4, but they went on a hunt in the Amber Temple to find as many of these sarcophagi as they could.
At this point, this is where the group kind of split.
Yes.
Because Rasmus had not touched one yet, so he couldn't tell if it was power. Oz and Rexar went a little nuts, and they started, sucking up all the sarcophagi power. Van Richten decided it was time to go.
Yes.
And
Rasmus fighting that feeling.
Correct. Tried to exit with Van Richten.
This is probably the most fresh in our mind because this has been the last probably month and a half that we've been playing. We've been in the Amber Temple, so there is really important details I think coming out of this because the group cohesion at this point has completely went astray. So when you take a dark gift, a gift from the sarcophagus, the Amber sarcophagus, a dark vestige is offering you some sort of grand power, but at the cost of maybe a flaw or some sort of significant feature that happens to you. So at this point, Rexar is speaking infernal, and he's got smoke coming out of his pores, and he's able to summon hellhounds. And Oz has turned to oily black fur, and he's terrified of fire. His eyes turn into starry voids, and none of them really look like their former selves or even act like their former selves. This temple and these dark bargains have kind of ripped their cohesion apart, and Van Richten wants nothing to do with it. So he tries to leave, or he leaves. He says, I'm leaving. Rasmus, you being the only one that has not tempted to this power, I think we should go now and leave these two to their doom, because they're doing despicable, evil, bargains, and Van Richten was not having it.
And at this point, Rasmus had shared that the staff...
That it was getting hard, yeah, that the staff was really starting to pull on you, right? So you are making your way out, but the Amber Temple starts really speaking to you, whether it's the dark powers or the Amber Temple. You start getting visions of the past, and as if you know the layout of the temple itself, as if you had been here before, or almost as if you were the kind of the caretaker of the temple. You were just getting these weird visions, right? So you leave Van Richten to himself. You flee down and start trying to accept every gift that you can. So at this point, the group is fighting each other for gifts. The hunt for power. The cohesion is completely broken at this point. They have 3 pieces of the puzzle. So if anyone's ever played Curse of Strahd before, Van Richten was told it's the fortune of the ally. They have the Sun Sword.
Artifact, right?
Yes. They have the Sun Sword. They have the Tome of Strahd. They have almost all the pieces that they need to kill Strahd, or to not kill Strahd, but to make the fight, maybe easier for them, right? They know he's powerful. All that has gone out the complete window at this point, and they're just accepting dark gifts left and right and left and right, and they're getting all these flaws, and these features are changing, and the group cohesion is completely out of whack, and they all want to fight to kill each other for these gifts. And in doing so, Rexar is slain by Oz.
Which is where Rasmus had first entered when Oz and Rexar had first started fighting and accepted his first dark gift.
Yes. So Rexar is slain, and we pick off with Rasmus now hunting for these powers himself, fully giving in, and Oz wanting them all for himself as well. He chases him and follows him. And they find another sarcophagi room. And in the middle of the room, Oz strikes a deal. Rexar being dead, Oz strikes a deal and says that he thinks they need to make a blood pact, a bond. That the two of them are going to have and try to get equal power. But they're going to get everything they can now that they've become this powerful. They're going to make a blood pact to stay together and to finish and kill Strahd. Screw everyone else. Nothing else matters anymore. They have stumbled upon something so grand and so powerful and dark. These powers that they're being granted, right? That nothing else matters except that they can stick together and finish Strahd themselves. So they make a blood pact. Razimus cuts off his left wing, being an Aarakocra. Oz cutting off his left hand. And then 2 desk elves promptly show up. One falling down from a shaft right above them, and another one coming down the hall. And one is known as Cdak, and he's looking for revenge. And at this point, Rexar is dead, so our good buddy Sean here is playing a little bit of a villain character for a second.
Yes, the right-hand man of Strahd.
Yes, the right or the left-hand man of Strahd.
Yeah.
Because the right-hand man of Strahd is his brother, which is Rahadin, and he is down the hallway, advancing towards them slowly.
Is that a joke on Oz's part because his left hand is gone?
Dang, that's actually tight.
Wow.
Yeah, it was. It was planned. Completely planned. So
Too soon.
Cdak, already having his orders, goes and tries to stop Oz. And Rahadin offers, while this fighting is kind of commencing, he kind of stops it and says, hey, you should come to the castle because we already know what's to play. Strahd has lost everything at this point, and you guys were brought here for a reason. And now, before the hunt can begin, before you can finish, whoever remains, whether it's you or Strahd, that he is extending his invitation to you to come to the castle and have one feast before, the battle commences, the hunt commences. Of course, these two, lusting off power and whatnot, promptly decline and try to. Or I
That's
think
a
you let
polite
them
way
go,
to put
right?
it.
You let them go, right?
No, they killed.
Well, no, because you were letting them walk away, right?
Yeah.
Not really.
No, they misty stepped.
Oh, they started leaving.
Yeah, they started leaving, and
Well, in doing so, Cdak dies.
yeah,
Cdak is slain, the left-hand man of Strahd, and Rahadin, leaving his brother to his demise, thinking he was going to hopefully return back to Capital Ravenloft, has already departed. But one of the dark powers that Oz has gotten is raise dead. So he raises Cdak back to life and offers him a deal.
Yeah, deal.
I brought you back to life. I killed you. I brought you back to life. You're going to come with us now. We're going to go kill Strahd, right? Cdak sort of agrees to this, and now they're off. And Rasmus goes and grabs more dark vestiges or dark bargains from these dark powers. And Oz has a clever idea. He goes over to Rexar, and he raises him back from the dead. But just as fast as he was brought back to life, he is slain again, because as soon as he is resurrected, Rexar and Oz start arguing about the prior events of him being slain. Yeah, he started getting saucy.
Well, yeah, the last thing he remembers was Oz slaying him.
Right, and Oz, or Rexar being at 1 HP from just recently being, risen from the dead, is killed again, and his head is torn off his body and strapped to Oz's shoulder, kind of worn as a trophy. I would like to tell you, our group cohesion was very good before this temple happened.
I swear it was.
Yeah,
we swear to the god.
This temple really brought everything out of whack. Again, if you're familiar with it, the sarcophagus really put things out of whack.
It takes a special group to play through it, because normally
I wouldn't allow PvP or very little here and there. But this was such a perfect moment where they were getting all these powers. They were becoming these evil, alignments at this point, and they were going to fight each other. They had these really dark flaws and these dark things that were happening to them, right? So Granted, they are kind of really overpowered at this point, but
'cause
the group cohesion has completely failed at this point.
Because if you go on like Reddit or now and you read about DMs don't even put this in.
You're right, exactly.
Because
a lot of
one, it changes the campaign. You literally could lose all your PCs in one sitting.
Right.
Or two, it's too much to bear. And hats off, JT. Like,
thank you. Yeah, it was really fun to run, and like I said, normally we're very low on PvP. We like the group cohesion, but this made so much sense. And if anyone ever plays Curse of Strahd or has played it, you know how how pivotal this temple is to the story and to what it can do to the players, right? Out of game and in game, it's very TPK kind of type of thing. But they managed to somehow hold it all together. Rasmus grabbing, so back to Rexar, his head being decapitated from him. Oz wears it as a trophy. They have Strahd in tow. And Rasmus at this point is getting the feeling that he's been in this temple before, but he doesn't know why. And it's almost as if there's iconography or things like statues and amber golems that are depicting a very similar appearance to his. There's Aarakocra iconography around a lot of the temple at this point. So he's almost getting this feeling. He's having, he knows the routes. He's feeling these. He's kind of having a big deja vu about this whole place. So he's kind of trying to make his whole sense of this at the same time. So he kind of knows where to go. He's starting to feel this pull, like from certain directions of more power, of more inquisitive things that they need to go to. So in the temple, they go up to a library. They find a secret door, and in doing so, to pull the secret door open is to take a book off the shelf, right? But Rasmus starts pulling off books, and he notices that he's written every single book that's on the shelf. Every single one of them is written by himself, and they're dark books, dark tales and dark knowledge of other planes and the abyss and all this stuff. And it's really confusing him at this point. How has he never been here, but his names are written on all these books, right? They find a secret passage, and Strahd is not cooperating at all at this point. Just not cooperating. So Strahd is killed, and he's dragged into a room. He's brought unconscious, and he's dragged into a room with a headless body sitting on the floor, crisscross style, with a blade across his lap. And this body can sense what's around it, but it can't see. And the closer Oz and Rasmus get, they finish off Strahd with the blade that's sitting on the lap, and then put the blade back on the lap. And the head that is on Oz's shoulder starts contorting and kind of becoming alive again. And Rexar can see once more. They're not sure why, but this temple is making things very confusing. And they put back Rexar's head onto the body, and now being slain and then brought back to life and being slain by Oz twice. The head's put back onto the body, and he can now somehow, some way, he's here. He's alive, right? And now he's reunited with his decapitated head. And this time, things are a little bit better. There's a little bit more cooperation in the talks between the group. And Oz and Rasmus come up with a blood pact for Rexar. And in doing
great
so,
blood pact.
in doing so, is to cauterize his beard and to never let it grow back. And that the three of them would stick together. Screw everything else. The three of them would stick together and kill Strahd themselves. So he does it. But he also says, I want equal power. So they, after cutting off his beard, very samurai-like, it's very close to his Dwarven heritage and his samurai heritage. He cuts off his beard, which really kind of, probably hurts him a little bit, right? But in search of not only group cohesion, but that some more power in the temple. So they're off, and they find some more sarcophagi. They're granted some more dark powers and dark flaws. And before they depart from the temple, Rasmus feels one more pull. And they come across a skeleton. With a skeleton very reminiscent to an Aarakocra, wearing a dark robe in a room. And this figure greets them and is actually the former past self of Rasmus. from a different time. He achieved lichdom and has been here ever since. He tells Rasmus that he's been here for centuries, even before Strahd was here, working out the inner workings of the dark powers and the Amber Temple and what it all means on a grand scale and how to kind of gain more knowledge about it. He finds the power to create a phylactery. He finds the power to become a lich. But in doing so, the dark powers have kept him here, and he's not able to leave. He can't continue his work. He can't do anything. So he knew that there would be a time that he needed to kind of send himself off. So he takes a fragment of himself, places it in the passage of time, and which ends up being born to be Rasmus, our player character here. And Rasmus ends up now finding himself in the same room as his self. It's very, very weird, but looking face to face and now having the power to know how to become a lich from the dark powers, severs the phylactery with permission from his former self to be able to place his own soul in the phylactery, but has to do a little bit of work to achieve that. And one of them is to get more dragon bones to kind of craft the phylactery again, because he did have to sever it.
And may I add, at this point, all of us look completely different.
Horrible. Literally horrible, which I'll touch in just a second because our recap is about to be done. So I think some of the main... this kind of wraps it up because they make some potions in the temple, and then they basically have another battle, and then they head off to Castle Ravenloft. The three of them have this group cohesion now where, yes, they've accepted all these flaws and these dark powers, but to hell with the rest and to hell with everything that they've done. This is what matters now, right? Is that Oz is looking for his love and this rite of passage. His love has been missing for quite some time, and he feels that she must be somewhere in Castle Ravenloft, right? Rexar being stuck here from the mist, not sure what's going on. He needs to finish off Strahd as well. Rasmus, same thing, but now with this idea of lichdom and being able to achieve that, but still stuck here in Barovia. They come with this cohesion to these blood pacts to, become a group, regardless of the flaws that might separate them, and to head off to Castle Ravenloft and finish off Strahd. To hell with Van Richten, to hell with Romanov, to hell with the Mardikovs and the winery and the Sun Sword and all that. To hell with all of it. They have everything that they possibly need, or at least so they think. And that the three of them should be able to achieve the impossible with no one else's help. So at this point, we've taken basically a good campaign, right? A good alignment campaign. The temple screwed everything up with their cohesion and their cooperation and their alignment, but they somehow managed to string it together. So we're really looking now where we're at. We're about to descend upon Castle Ravenloft. We're looking upon it's almost like an evil working campaign, which normally people don't do, but these awesome group of players have been able to really bring it all into full circle into this cool cohesion where this actually works, and there should be very rare a PvP case at this point. You all have that goal to kill Strahd,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we purposely avoided, after leaving the temple, we purposely avoided towns because we all look super different.
Exactly. So I think we should touch upon that though. So these dark powers, they all were granted. They all accepted these gifts. A lot of them too. There was probably a total of 12 sarcophagi in the temple. Three of the major ones being that Oz learned the power to become a vampire. Rasmus learning the power to become a lich. Rexar knowing the power to scryer, to being able to use scrying, and I think reincarnate, and being able to summon hellhounds and speak infernal, and I think one more.
No, that's it.
That's it. There might be one more. Oz, on the other hand, that major power being the vampire, but he can also He has the effects of Belt of Fire Giant Strength.
Yeah.
And he
maximum
also...
HP bump.
Yeah, he has maximum HP bump. He has...
cast Cone of Cold, Finger Death, Raise the Dead. I can res one person.
Left, because there was a total of 3. So some of these...
Raise the Dead, and because I have Raise the Dead and Resurrection.
No, he got Reincarnate.
He got Revivify.
No, he got Reincarnate.
Oh, he got I can raise one person. I can raise one person.
Left, yeah.
No, I have Raised Dead, which there was 3, and I used 2. So I have 1 left, and I have another one called Resurrection.
Okay.
And then I got Spider Climb.
Yes.
I have True Sight, 120 feet.
Yes, which is actually crazy.
Which, yeah, for DMs, like...
Rasmus, on the other hand, getting... after he cut off his wing, he actually gets the power to grow another one. So he's got one perfect wing, and then another one is like a skeletal wing that grew back shortly after.
Which is just really weird coincidence.
I know, really weird coincidence. It actually just worked out that way. But he got a charisma bump. He can cast Lightning Bolt, even though he's a sorcerer, so he's got like a few extra lightning.
It's a free
bolt.
cast.
Free cast. What else do you have?
I have the knowledge to turn into the Lich.
You got Mind Blank.
I have Mind Blank is constant on me for a year, pretty much. So I have that boost.
Yeah, no one can like.
Did Rasmus get the? He can't be detected. No, that was me. I got.
Oh, you have like an amulet of evasion and non-detection.
Ring of evasion and amulet of non-mind.
The benefits of it.
At this point, though, on Rasmus's appearance, he's got no eyes. It's just dark.
Oh no, I was just about to. Yeah. So let's talk about appearance-wise, because these guys, they look completely different. So let's. So Rasmus first. The Aarakocra sorcerer Rasmus. Your appearance has completely changed, which is what?
It's dark void eyes, which you can still see out of.
Yeah, sockets. Dark sockets, right, yeah.
Right. Half of my the left side of my face is sagging. I have one extra finger.
Right.
I have
on each hand.
On each hand.
Or claw.
So like a normal hand now.
Right, yeah, because you're an Aarakocra.
Skeletal wing. One skeletal wing.
And then Rexar, on the other hand, the dwarf samurai, has...
without having a beard now.
Without having a beard. He doesn't have a beard.
I lose my teeth.
That's right. All your teeth are gone.
Yeah, all my teeth are falling out. And also, I have a wicked-looking smile.
All the time.
All the time, no matter what.
Grin.
Yeah.
And if he speaks infernal, pores start coming out of... or smoke starts coming out of his pores.
Yeah.
And I think that's it, right?
Yes.
And then Oz has...
an eye on his back. He's a Goliath barbarian, but he has blackish, oily fur. He has eyes that are black, but they have like the star constellation of stars in them. That's how we pictured it. Missing his left hand, but he's a beefy boy. I think that's about it.
Okay, so needless to say, these they do not look the same. They don't even act the same. But there's this blood pact that they did, and they have a goal. The three of them, again, and screw everything else. Nothing else matters except their goal to kill Strahd and the pact that they made. So we've kind of taken this good campaign and kind of turned it to this really cool, like, semi-evil, they have all these flaws, and they've taken dark bargains, and they are kind of doing very evil stuff, but they still have this goal to kill Strahd. And so they descend out of the temple and head down to the closest place. They camp out at a forest, right, kind of a few miles away from Castle Ravenloft. And when they rest, after this full mountain trekking adventure of not trying to get near towns or anything like that. So when they wake up from their rest in the forest, there is a black carriage awaiting for them. The door is open, and on the chair there are 3 invitations. Basically, they know what this is: a free ride to a free passage to Castle Ravenloft. But in two of the seats, including the note itself, one is a pendant that looks very familiar to Oz, which is what his lover used to wear around her neck. How it's here, he has no idea. He's very confused by this. And Rexar finds that by his note is his brother comb for his beard, something that he really cherished again, very confused that it's sitting in this black carriage at the moment. But that's where we left off, and this is where the story begins.
Yeah, so for all you Patreon listeners, this is the recap of Curse of Strahd, a little bonus content for you guys. These are my Wednesdays group, and I invited them into basically my little makeshift studio here to record this, because I think it's a great adventure, because not only do you guys get to hear me RP, but you get to hear these amazing people RP also. So spread the word. Again, JT, Dion, and Sean, thank you.
Absolutely, no thank you.
And
Absolutely.
we'll be back with episode 2, or I guess the beginning of the end.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully.
Descent
I'm excited. I got chills right now. Woo!
The end of Strahd.
We hope it's the end of Strahd.
I know, right?